Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here with SPL Finals right here between TheThorn and miltankmilk. Now this is for pretty much if the Tigers get this win, they win SPL. Otherwise the Scooters take it and then they end up going to tiebreaker with the title. The titles. But the Scooters are actually a team ran by CBB and Brofist, and the Tigers are ran by Tennis Ace and Atomic Llamas. So it looks like TheThorn brought Sticky Webs, and this is NJMP's second version of the team, so I believe it's 4 attacks Thunderous with Incinerate, Sludge Wave, which actually has a ridiculously good matchup, because Sludge Wave, Life Orb Sludge Wave 2 KOs Tangrowth, even if it's Assault Vest, 100% with rocks. And miltankmilk brought no hazard control, so if you guys didn't see my video yesterday where I was talking about how Webs has such a big impact on the meta right now, and it's so matchup oriented, but in this case, it can be really good. However, if he does end up having something like Taunt, Tapu Koko, or Trick Gengar, which he more than likely I'm thinking it is, it would have been a great lead for miltankmilk. So really great double on TheThorn's part right there, as miltankmilk ended up going out to Landers. So this gives him so much momentum. I don't know if he's going to Spore immediately, because if Tapu Koko comes out, it can get up Electric Terrain. And outside of that, he also does have Tangrowth as a great Spore switch in. But if Tangrowth comes out, that's Sticky Web and that's Stealth Rock. And Pinsir is going to be looking really threatening with Sticky Web up. So he does go hard Tapu Koko, good to block the Spore. Let's see. Goes right for Sticky Web, definitely prioritizing that Sticky Web. The thing is though, Tapu Koko is already a huge threat to this team anyway. If it is running HP Ice, because it beats Pinsir, can beat Bisharp with Thunderbolt. Goes right for the HP Ice right there. Let's see if it's Life Orb. Nope, and doesn't have the Taunt. So those are the Sticky Web and the Stealth Rock up. But it's still not looking bad for miltankmilk, especially if he's like SD offensive Landers with Stealth Rock, because that can put in a lot of work versus TheThorn. Also, the fact that Metagross hasn't Mega Evolved yet, so it does keep its auto speed. It's not going to be touching that. And like I said, this is going to be a problem for the Tapu Koko in general is going to be a problem for TheThorn, because there's not much that he can switch into. After sacking Smeargle, which is what I'm assuming he's going to want to do here, he's probably going to go out to Mimikyu just to threaten it with Play Rough. Zygarde does eat an HP Ice. It definitely does eat an HP Ice, and based on the damage, we already know it's not Specs. That is 100% not Specs HP Ice at all, because that did 35% to a Smeargle. So I'm pretty sure TheThorn is just going to sack this this Smeargle. He doesn't have a switch in. Bisharp is kind of threatening under Webs, especially if that's something like Specs Gengar locked in the Shadow Ball. The fact that Landorus Intimidate does give it Defiant boost. It's more than likely Assault Vest Tangrowth, so the best thing it usually has to hit Bisharp is Earthquake. I guess they could run Hidden Power Fire as well, but typically, especially on a team like miltankmilk, which is so weak to Zygarde, Hidden Power Ice is something that's going to be ran. And speaking of Zygarde can put in a lot of work with Sticky Webs up, so I think the way that miltankmilk has to play with this is that he has to not Mega Metagross. Or if he does have, actually if he has Ice Punch on it, it's probably just going to straight up destroy. But yeah, like I said, Smeargle, that turn took a little while, but there was nothing else TheThorn could do. All he had to do was click Spore there. But it's not looking bad though. Like I said, Sticky Web has a really good matchup versus this. I could definitely see Metagross, Landorus, and even if it's like Scarfgar, although I'm thinking more so Specs, but if it is Scarfgar, which makes sense as well because Pheromos is a threat, it can also put in some work versus him. And Tapu Koko just being in is nasty for TheThorn. But yeah, let's say TheThorn does win. Then like I said, it is going to be a tiebreaker, which would be pretty cool for finals, because then it's a best of 3, I think in their 3 best tiers. And I would say they would pick Sun and Moon OU. I think they have to pick OU as one of them. And they'd probably go like DP, OU, and ADV. Then again, GSC, their GSC is really good too. So same with their RBI, honestly. The Scooters have a really solid old gen core. They have Jirachi, Philip, Ojama, Mr. 378, Crystal, all competent players, excuse me, in the tier that they're playing. So there's the Mimikyu, and we do see it on the U-turn as he goes right for Shadow Claw. That was smart, but now the next time Tapu Koko comes out, it's going to be affected by that electric terrain, and that means that stuff like Pinch is going to be putting in some work. So I could see TheThorn going hard Thunderous here. I think Thunderous does threaten Landorus. Based on that damage, that Shadow Claw, that's definitely defensive Landorus as well. Shadow Claw would not do 18 if it was running a more offensive Rocky Helmet variant. I want to say the 160 HP set, we'll actually look at it right now because I know it's Adamant Mimikyu. I don't want to miss too much of the game, so I'm actually going to put the calc on the side. That way we don't miss it, but let's see. See how much Mimikyu actually does. Because Mimikyu is by no means strong, but it definitely helps his team so much. One, it gives you like a second life versus Pokemon like Metagross, which is probably going to dominate this team. If the Thorn's going to win, though, like I said, it's probably going to be with Bisharp plus Pinsir. Pinsir forcing the Metagross to Mega Evolve. That way it can outspeed it and hit it with a Thunder Punch or Ice Punch. And then Bisharp pretty much cleaning up with Tapu Koko being weakened, Landorus being weakened. Well, he's going to have to weaken them, and obviously Keldeo being there too, but he does have ways of weakening Keldeo. I mean, he has Pinsir, so... Yeah, there's a Thundurus, hard Thundurus on the U-turn. Very, very, very solid play on miltankmilk's part. Keeping up full momentum versus Tapu Koko. However, this is Life Orb Sludge Wave, and I'm going to calc this real quick. I know this is Life Orb Sludge Wave because I did homework on this Sticky Web team. Yep, that's gone. We'll calc if that crit mattered real quick, but if it did, I don't know. It's offensive pivot. Yeah, Sludge Wave does 118 to 139, so that crit did not matter at all. I think that's really just lack of. Not knowing, like, lack of not being prepped versus. I don't want to say lack of not being prepped versus Sticky Web, because I think miltankmilk can definitely do better versus the other variant of Sticky Web, the Celesteela one. But just not knowing that this Thundurus is 4 attacks with Incinerate, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, and HP Ice definitely caught him off guard there. This is why I watch NJMP's replays. He used it versus Chris. You guys know Moet. And he ended up beating Chris down with it. So that was a super solid turn. Getting rid of Tapu Koko was amazing. And hard into Pinsir was a solid play because he gets to get off a return. This does have Hyper Cutter. So Landorus being at, wow, 58% when it comes in. It's going to die to return, or to 2 returns. And miltankmilk has 0 switch-ins for this mon. Though, once he gets off the damage with Rocky Helmet on Landorus, he should definitely go Landorus. Once he gets off the damage with Rocky Helmet, it does put Pinsir in range of Ice Punch from Metagross. So, straight for the return. Like I said, well, barely misses out on the KO. So, it's definitely defensive Landorus. I was calcing earlier, but yeah, Landorus going down isn't too bad. It definitely, I want to say it helps miltankmilk a bit, because if it ever came in on Bisharp, it gave him the boost. But then again, not being able to check Zygarde. It's still anyone's game, though. Metagross is still a huge threat. Mimikyu's disguise is busted. What we could probably be seeing is Pinsir actually being saved since no rocks are up, and potentially Mimikyu being sacked. Though Mimikyu could also be saved, that way it could Shadow Sneak Metagross or anything like that. But what I would do if I was a Thorn is I would sack Mimikyu here. Keep Pinsir alive, because whenever it comes in on Tangrowth, it gets to click return, which puts down Keldeo, puts down Gengar, puts down Tangrowth, and it does about, I want to say 20-something to 30% to Metagross. Maybe that's a little bit too high of a roll, but I could see him sacking Mimikyu right here. And I'm not ghosting anybody, by the way. There's nobody in call. I'm just trying to think about the best plays, and I'm trying to give you guys. I hope you guys enjoy this tournament commentary. Obviously, I'm not streaming it or anything. I'm just recording it for myself. But I could see Mimikyu being sacked here. Hard Zygarde. I guess Zygarde makes sense as well, because it forces Metagross to Mega Evolve, which forces it later to take damage. And if he doesn't have Ice Punch, which he might not. I definitely think he has Thunder Punch because he does have Tapu Koko. Alright, so doubles out the Keldeo on the 1,000 arrows. Gonna take a ton. Did he make it banded? Is that banded damage? Instead of Dragon? I don't know. That 1,000 arrows did so much. But then again, it's still 1,000 arrows from Adam and Zygarde. It has to be. Is that banded damage? We're about to calc this. Holy crap. How are you going to do 52% to Keldeo upon switch? Then again, 52% is a little bit if it's banded damage. Yeah, 1,000 arrows is 68 to 80 if it's banded. So that's definitely not banded. Damn, that did that much to Keldeo? It is Scarf Keldeo. Let's see if we can get the burn. Pops that citrus, yeah. So Keldeo going down. I mean, it makes sense that Keldeo would go down because Thundurus beats it, Pinsir beats it. But I don't like that play at the same time, especially just to go right back into Metagross, because Keldeo going down means that Bisharp is going to destroy him, and he's forced to Mega Evolve right now. So I understand that he's saving Mimikyu. I'm pretty sure he's just saving it just so he could Shadow Sneak Gengar just in case it's like Scarf or something. But there's the Meteor Mash, did not get off enough damage, and there's 1,000 arrows. I think the Thorn has this. I straight up think the Thorn has this because Metagross was his one threat to beating the team. He does have the Bullet Punch as well. Ooh, maybe some mind games. No, Pinsir 100% lives. Pinsir 100% lives Bullet Punch unless it crits, and even then I don't think a crit will kill. So he goes Thundurus first, which is fair. You want to keep Pinsir as healthy as possible. And Thundurus also outspeeds every Mon on his team and forces in Tangrowth, which means that Pinsir gets to click return. And that should be finals for the Scooters. That should definitely be finals for the Scooters. I'm surprised he saved Mimikyu. It ended up being Scarf Keldeo, so it's probably Specscar. I can see Specscar with Trick. Maybe that's why he led off with it versus potentially Smeargle or even Tauntgar, but I think Specscar with Trick is a lot more likely. But sorry about my mouse being there, but he decides to sack Mimikyu. I mean, it makes complete sense. By clicking Shadow Claw, you forget, you don't let Gengar come in, and then you allow Pinsir to come in, click return, kill Tangrowth, and then Gengar comes in, you quick attack that, and then you beat it with Thunderbolt. So that was actually a really smart play at the same time. I mean, it could have worked either way with Mimikyu in the back or anything like that, but the Thorn ended up pulling through. That might be Specscar. The Thorn ended up pulling through with Sticky Webs, and it's just to show, goes to show how busted Sticky Webs are right now. Not busted, but they're definitely so good, especially if you're not running Hazard Control, and miltankmilk wasn't. Even if you are running Hazard Control, you have to know the team to play versus it. And I think that was really lack of his knowledge of not knowing that this Thundurus runs Sludge Wave, Incinerate, HP Ice, and Thunderbolt. But Sticky Webs pulling through once again, and the Thorn wins, so that means the Scooters are going to go into tiebreaker with the Tigers, and we'll have something like that. So what could have been the Tigers SPL win now becomes, you know, it's just a toss-up. So anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed. I definitely did. I think what he was trying to do was go Keldeo to get the roll or burn with Scald. That way Metagross could come in later and then knock out Zygarde with the Meteor Mash, and then have this disgusting Metagross set that could just 1v1 Pinsir, could Bullet Punch Mimikyu to knock it out, and still eat a hit from Thundurus because it was at full HP, and even from Bisharp. But it didn't end up working out. In any case, like I said, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Good game to both players. I think that this is what I'm talking about. Like, you got to know teams that are common. You got to know the sets. At the same time, though, he didn't have Sludge Wave switch-ins, so he could have potentially, like, in order to play around this, he probably would have had to go on like he would have had to go on like the Metagross on the Sludge Wave, and then double out into Tangrowth on the Thunderbolt, and then get off an HP Ice just to weaken Thundurus, which would have helped him out. But even then, it was always going to be in the back. Especially, look at these. This is just game changing. But in any case, like I said, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Of course, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, do your thing, follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Those links are down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.